So today we're going to continue our stuff on factoring, and we're going to look at factoring when our value in the A position is not a 1. So we did some of these in class, but I wanted to do 3 examples at home so we can continue our practice, because we know that practice makes perfect. So again, the first step here is we're going to multiply the A value and the C value together. So 3 times 5 is 15. Then our next step is we are going to factor that 15 into all the different numbers that multiply together to make 15. Now, when we factor these, or when we find the factors of 15, we also want the sum of those two numbers to equal our B value, which is 16. So we know that 15 can be the product of 5 and 3 and of 15 and 1. And 15 and 1 multiply or add together to make 16, which is our value for B. So we're going to be using 15 and 1 as our factors. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of those numbers, the 15 and the 1, and we're going to divide them by the A value, in this case, which is 3. Now we're going to reduce both of those fractions, the 15 over 3 and the 1 over 3, as much as we can. 15 over 3 will change to 5, and the 1 over 3 is reduced as much as it can be. The last step is now we're going to create polynomials out of these two numbers. Both of these are going to start out with x, and I'm going to use this number as a positive 5, so I'm going to say x plus 5. And now the number that I'm going to use here in this fraction is going to be the numerator, so which would be x plus 1. The number in my denominator, that 3, becomes the number in front of the x in that polynomial. So this now becomes x plus 5 times 3x plus 1, and this is my final answer. So again, this 5 here in the polynomial comes from the reduction of 15 over 3. This 1 comes from the 1/3 fraction, and this 3 is in the denominator of that fraction. Number 2, again, multiplying together A and C. 2 times 7 gives me 14. I want to now factor 14. Now I want the two numbers to add together to make negative 9. 14 and 1 make 15. 7 and 2 make positive 9. But I want a negative 9. So what I'm going to do is factor this out to where it's negative 7 and negative 2. Because if I add both of those together, I get negative 9. Next step is dividing each one of those numbers, negative 7 by the A value, negative 2 by the A value. And then I'm going to go over here and reduce those fractions, negative 7 over 2 and negative 2 over 2. Negative 2 over 2 becomes negative 1, and negative 7 over 2 is as reduced as it can be. So I'm going to have 2 sets of parentheses, each containing x. Now remember, the number in my numerator is what will be added or subtracted to x. Since it's a negative 7, I will say x minus 7. Now I have a remainder of 2 in my denominator, so this 2 will go in front of the x. And now I have negative 1 for my second set, so this will just be x minus 1. And that will be my final factoring. So finally, the last one, we have 2x squared minus x minus 3. So again, I'm going to multiply together A and C. So I'm going to have 2 times 3, actually a negative 3, which will give me negative 6. I want to factor out negative 6 into two numbers that will add together to make negative 1. So negative 6 can get factored out to negative 3 and positive 2, which add together to make negative 1. I will then divide both of those numbers, the negative 3 and the 2, by the A value, which is 2. Now I'm going to reduce both of those fractions. Negative 3 over 2 and 2 over 2. The only one that can be reduced is this 2 over 2 is going to turn into 1. And now I'm going to move these into their polynomials. X minus 3, the 2 is the remainder, and then here will be x plus 1. So that is factoring when the number in the trinomial in front of x squared is not 1, but something like 2, 2, or 3.